I'm in another city and I had to get some gas. And, look, every city I go to has got the same. It's the same. It doesn't matter what city. But just look. Look how ridiculous this is.
Take the next left onto North Roxborough Street.
This is not living. Look at this. Look at this. I tried to go
in a quarter mile, use the right lane to take the I-85 South, US 15 South ramp to Greensboro.
I had a hard time just getting in there and getting gas. I think I'm moving to the beach. This is not.
Use the right lane to take the I-85 South ramp, then merge onto I-85 South.
I think I'm gonna sell everything and move to the beach. This is not my kind of. I don't believe. And every city I go to, it's the same story. It's the same story. It's ridiculous. And the highways are the same. I mean, these are nice highways, but they're just highways.
Continue on I-85 South for 3 miles.
At least they put up some brick walls instead of those other ugly looking walls. I don't care if it's a 15-minute city. I don't care if it's a 30-minute city. I don't care what kind of city it is. It's still a city. Yeah, it's nice to have your conveniences nearby, you know. But it's just concrete. It's just a concrete. Think about it. You get up in the morning, you go to work, you get up, you walk out your concrete front patio, you get in a car and you go down the concrete street, go to your concrete job, walk in the concrete entrance, and you leave and you go back home and you repeat it over and over. You might say, well, what's the alternative? Good point. I think what happens is, as you spiritually see past this place, kind of like Enoch walked with God and was not. Eventually, you got to be translated and taken out of this place. This place is temporary. Enoch walked with God and was not. Maybe that's what's happening. The church is still trying to walk with the world instead of walking with God. And as soon as the church says, hey, we're going to walk with God and not with the world, maybe that's when the rapture takes place. Enoch walked with God and was not.
In half a mile, keep left at the fork to continue on I-85 South.
Enoch walked with God and was not. They try to put some trees up to make the highway look like a little bit more comfortable.
Keep left at the fork to continue on I-85 South.
And look how the stuff's growing over the edge. They put bushes in the median. And what happens when there's a storm and the tree limbs fall? Unless those trees just started growing on their own. The city can't maintain it. Maybe they started just growing. Maybe they just started growing on their own and they couldn't stop it. I can't imagine you putting trees in the middle of the highway. Enoch walked with God and was not. Elijah was taken up. Elijah was taken up. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Man left nature into concrete to have an easier life, but he became a slave to technology and to cars. Technology was supposed to make your life easier, but now man is working longer hours, more in debt, and more sick. But when man lived over there in the trees, yeah, he didn't live as long and didn't have the doctors like. But man goes home, turns the TV on, and just watches a bunch of junk on TV instead of meditating on the truth and seeking God. Man has all this free time now to seek God and find God, but man doesn't want God. That's my point. And so these concrete jungles might have comfort, but they all are the same, and they're all taking you away from your Creator. You eventually, when you really start to study and meditate and say, well, why would God leave Israel out in the wilderness for 40 years and they just went around in circles? Why would he do that? The reason is he was teaching them something about worship. He was teaching them something about the priest class, the true worship. And he was showing types and shadows. He was showing the deeper truth. And so, yeah, you've got ebooks online and Bibles online, and anybody can learn their Bible. You know, anybody can read the Bible online. And it's like, okay, so why ain't they doing it? Because they're so distracted with the concrete jungle and the noise, the Babylonian music and the Babylonian TV and the Babylonian Netflix and stuff like that. It's all Babel. It's all the same. If you really take all the data points, really, people, if you take all the data points, when all the data points flood your mind, it all floods your mind, okay? Then you'll see that all the movies are the same. Every day's the same. Everything repeats. There's nothing new under the sun. It all floods your mind. What your grandparents, your parents, you, your kids, your grandchildren, they all go through the same stuff every time. And it's like, okay, so you want to break the cycle, whatever the cycle is. Somebody had, let's say there was alcoholism in the family or something. You want to break that cycle, break it. It's just a cycle. And any cycle can be broken. You can create new cycles. Whether it's abuse, alcoholism, whether it's any kind of psychological thing, even a narcissist. A lot of people say a narcissist can't be healed. I think if a narcissist got saved, God can heal them. But for a narcissist to admit they're sinners, that's the problem. They could get saved if they admit their sin. But most people can't admit their sin. They can't admit they deserve hell. Yeah, these trees are nice. To be able to go down this highway and see this and this. But even Mother Earth, when there's a storm or if you were camping out and that tree fell on you, you'd be dead, you know. This is a rough place. Concrete. What's better, the concrete jungle or the jungle? They both have their own positives and negatives about them. You go to a concrete job, even doing rideshare becomes monotonous, and people get in your car and they think they have something new to say, and you've already heard the same story 1,000 times. There's nothing new. There's nothing new. And it upsets them. They'll say something like, "I bet you never had riders like this," and I say, "Well, after you do this a while, you've already heard the same story 1,000 times," and it kind of destroys their pride. And it needs to, because they need to realize they're nothing special. All their dreams and all their visions and all their goals is somebody else has the same goals and visions and dreams. They're the only dream and vision and goal that you should really have as an ultimate goal is to know God, worship God, know God, keep His commandments. Isn't that what it says in Ecclesiastes, the last 2 verses? What's the whole duty of man? To find God, to know God, and keep His commandments. What are His commandments? To believe on His Son whom He has sent. That's in 1 John chapter 5 or somewhere in there. What are the commandments of God? To believe on His Son whom He sent. So whether you're in a concrete jungle or an actual jungle, what should be your motivation? There's only one conclusion: to win souls. Your only conclusion down here, the only thing that you should be really doing, because this is temporary. This is all going to burn up. It's all going to burn up. Somebody just made a comment somewhere on some kind of, I don't know what channel it was on, but while I'm doing the video, I read the comment. Somebody said something. Kind of sparked a thought. This is the only goal. The only goal down here is to win souls. You want to build a house, you want to build a job, build a career, go ahead. But while you're doing it, with one hand, build that. With the other hand, start getting the message out. Carry a weapon in one hand and build with the other hand. That's what Israel did. They built the temple with one hand, they had a weapon in the other hand to fight off the enemy. So you're in a warfare for souls against the devil. So you build, but you also win. A lot of people say, well, what does God want me to do in life? Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you feel like you're led to do. Just enjoy it. Don't go to a job you hate every day. Yeah, but I'm making $80,000 a year. Are you miserable? Yeah. Well, maybe you can sacrifice for 2 years, but don't stay more than 2 years, because you're not gonna be a happy camper in this life. You better do what you enjoy. Mix it up. The only thing I can think is mix it up. Have the concrete jungle, but also have the regular jungle. Maybe buy you a spot where you can have you a sanctuary closed off from other people. But all this, no matter what city I go in, I see the same stuff. Doesn't matter what city I go in. It's the same junk. I mean, look at the cracks in the highway. You really think about whoever repairs these cracks in the highway. Think about that. If they were not doing that job, you couldn't travel safely. Do they enjoy that job? It's a dangerous job. Do they enjoy it? If they enjoy it, more power to them. It's just a trip, to be honest with you. To try to build a kingdom down here is just cracks on the path. It's just not going to be. It's not going to. You're not going to get what you expect. It might be better than you expect. It might be worse than you expect, but it's not going to be what you expect. It's just not going to happen. You might say, "What are you ranting about?" I'm not really ranting. I'm just talking about how good the rapture would be. How good it would be to get translated out of this place. This is ridiculous. It's insane. Every day is the same. All these people, what do they worship? They worship the world, the flesh, and the pride of life. That's all they worship. They don't worship God. There might be some out here on the highway worship God. But they worship the world, the flesh, the pride of life. They worship the natural. They worship Mother Earth. They worship the stuff. It's sad. Or they worship the stars or the moon or the... Okay, so they're trying to get out of... So they're trying to leave Earth. So Elon Musk says, I want to get out. Look, we need to leave Earth, go to Mars. He says, I hope it happens in my lifetime. Well, if you follow that logic, he's going to eventually shift over to longevity, where he's going to try to live forever. That's his next investment. He's got Twitter. He's got Tesla. He's got SpaceX. His next investment is going to be longevity studies. You already know what he's going to do, because if he thinks he can go to Mars or go off planet, I think he's part of Illuminati. If that really is what his goal is, to go off planet, then his next goal would be longevity, where he could live forever, which is kind of what he's doing with tying the AI to the machine. So they're going to try to upload their consciousness to a computer, a quantum computer, so they can live forever in the simulation. They know it's a simulation. They know it is. They know it is. But can you imagine living forever in a simulation? I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I'm about 100% sure they're not going to do it. God wouldn't let them upload consciousness to a computer. All they're going to do is copy their words, their actions, the AIs can mimic the person. The AI will mimic their personality. So when you see the AI generated person who died, you can actually talk to your grandmother or grandfather eventually and think, well, that's my mom. And the AI would grow with you as you communicate. So your grandmother would live forever and you would live forever, but it's just a simulation. It's a fake persona, AI personas, but you think it's your real grandmother, but your grandmother died. But everything she said, everything she did, the way she looked, you're going to believe that's your grandmother. Because the AI is so deceptive, it's off the roof. You can infer, you can unfold, you can unfurl, you can see the future before it happens. You already know what they're going to do. That's what the metaverse is about. And actually, meta means up, but actually their idea of meta is actually going down, because they're trying to put everybody into a simulated computer experience. And even Bezos said everybody's going to be leaving Earth, working up in a spaceship, doing remote work, you know. Just like there's a movie about that. I believe longevity is a good thing, but not to live forever, but to be strong until the day you die. I think that is a good goal. And if you want to do that, go ahead and start taking some creatine. Creatine will help you. Omega-3 will help you. I knew I shouldn't have took this ride. it didn't really pay enough, but at least it gave me time to talk to a few people, and just because while I was in that city, I did another run, and it's the same stuff. These people actually take a train or a bus to another city an hour away to go to college, and you're like scratching your head thinking, because once you go through college, I've been to college, I graduated, I got a degree, and so once you look back, it's like it's total indoctrination. High school, college, it's all indoctrination. Yeah, it's nice to say I got a degree, but it's indoctrination. It's an indoctrination program, and you don't even usually do what your degree is in, because you don't even know who you are when you're going through all that indoctrination. It's really sad. I'm not trying to be pessimistic, and I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to show you that your confidence in anything that man builds, any city state, anything, any confidence down here, it becomes a repeat. Even investing is so boring, it's not even funny. It's, people can try to make it exciting by gambling, but really investing is more boring than anything. You just find a company that's making money, you just invest. You can find about 10 companies that are making a profit or long term, and you just start investing. That's really the secret. It's really not complicated. They make sure they make a profit, make sure they have a good CEO, and that's it. There's one company out there called Mullen Electric, I think. Mullen Automotive is what it's called, yeah. So their CEO, the inventor, is a con artist. Just like, and people put some of these rich investors put a lot of money into him, and they're losing it. Just like with what happened with Theranos and those other companies, those investors. And you're going to be rich. This is the next big thing. And then the bottom drops out, My conclusion after 3 or 4 years of investing is you just need to invest in dividend stocks, period. Companies that prove themselves over time. They're going to be more stable than you are. Because they have thousands of employees, and those employees keep that without a vision, the people perish, right? So if you got 1,000 or 10,000 employees, the vision is just steady state, The vision is settled. It's hard to shift the vision. Even if technology changes, that corporation can adjust to the new technology. My only advice in life is try to live a simple life, invest in some decent companies, try to get some dividend flow, do a job you like, do a career you like, don't matter how much you make. Try to set you up something that makes some income, Airbnb or artwork or something on the side, but keep you a steady flow of income and just chill and worship God. Don't try to worship stuff. And cut their noise off, cut their TV off, their music and all that stuff. It's all indoctrination. It's all lies. Why are you listening to a bunch of lost people sing? Why are you listening to a bunch of unsaved, uncircumcised Philistines who hate God? Like Suicide Sheep. He puts a lot of music up there, but it ain't getting you nowhere. And the grass is never greener on the other side. Whatever you find to do it with all your might, and make sure you enjoy it. Learn all you can, but use it for giving out the good news. I really don't have anything else to say. It's a hologram. It's a fractal simulated training program to change you on the inside until Christ be formed in you. And I really don't know what else to say. I've said everything. Time doesn't exist. Your thoughts are not your own. God is leading you and guiding you. You don't even know it. It's not in a man's way to direct his own steps. Your thoughts are not even your own. You think those are your thoughts, but they're not. If you worship God, if you have faith in God, it's because God gave it to you. Because you had a willing and obedient heart to believe on His Son, you know. You think those are your thoughts. Every time you open your mouth, you think those are your thoughts. If you get into the spirit flow, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll just start talking and it just flows. And you don't even know where it came from. And the same with the New Age people. The devil, those New Age people, they get in a flow and the devil will give them a flow that is a big fat lie. But if you get in the flow of the Spirit and you know your Bible and God will speak through you truth that you think, where did that come from? How did those data points tie together? And it has to line up with the Bible. If it don't line up with the Bible, be careful, because the Bible says to try the spirits. Try the spirits, because a lot of people are in a flow, but they're not in the flow of the Holy Spirit. They're in the flow of the demonic spirit. To try to build a kingdom down here, I just don't see it. I do see trying to get debt free down here. To get debt free is the goal, the ultimate goal. But there's always going to be stuff that comes up, you know. My conclusion is to live a quiet and peaceful life in all godliness and honesty, and to live just a simple life and find something you enjoy doing. Try to help people, but mainly try to give them the good news, because all this is just a concrete jungle. That's all it is. It's just a concrete jungle. Nothing else really. What do you think it's going to be in 20 years? The same. What do you think this highway is going to be in 20 years? It's going to be expanded a couple lanes. They might have some kind of new technology to pave it. It might be some kind of new vehicle, but it's still going to be the same. It's still just a vehicle. It's still just a transportation. The only thing that would really change our reality is a teleportation device, you know. In a big way, a teleportation device would be like, okay, it's over. We don't even, but they wouldn't, even if they have it, they wouldn't release it because it would destroy the economy. Nobody would have a job. See, they had to release a little bit of technology at a time so people have a job. They've already got this thing planned out 50, 100 years in advance. Because if they released technology that took away the need to transport somewhere, everybody would lose a job like overnight. It's all a slow release of new technology because everybody would be homeless. Nobody would have a job. It has to be released little by little by little by little. They've got a phone, probably mobile phone that would blow your mind already in the lab, but they just haven't released it yet. Most big companies have a research and development department. There's research and development departments, and that's pretty much what the universities are. It's all research and development. All these new programming languages like Python and why are they creating these new languages? Why do they keep creating new languages? Because they're trying to perfect it, make it better. You can actually take a free class at Harvard. You can learn Python programming from a Harvard professor and learn Python for free. Now that is a trip. You can learn Python programming for free at Harvard, online, on YouTube. Last month I took that class, and it's like, this is for free, and it's online, and you can watch it at your own convenience. Pretty amazing. But what is it doing? Why are they giving it out for free? Because they want to push mankind into the machine man. They want everybody tied to the machine. They want so many people programming that they eventually get to a point where the AI programs itself and everybody just accepts it because it makes their life easier, but it's actually making them a slave. Your life is easier, but you're more of a slave. And now what's that about? That's an oxymoron to the hilt, you know. That's an oxymoron to the hilt. Your life is easier, but you're more of a slave. What is that about? People, come on. Everybody's got to wake up. And I know they're not going to, but it's like, come on. Wake up. Quit eating their sugar. Their sugar is your enemy. The inflammation is the enemy. Just Google what foods cause inflammation and don't eat them, and then Google foods that get rid of inflammation and eat those foods, and then you got the problem solved. You become a master. You become your own doctor then.